The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. JayReims at the Periodic Review, and welcome to the podcast. I have my wonderful co-hosts here. We have on my left the lovely, the voluptuous wife.
Did you forget my name?
What was your name again? I forget. What?
Honestly.
Oh, your name's Honestly. So this is Honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, Rianne. How are you?
Good. How are you, Jacob?
Great. Welcome. I'm glad that we're all in the room today.
Yeah, me too. It was a journey, so I'm here.
All right. So we have camera 2, and the lovely Rianne. Camera 3, Mr. Alakai, co-host number 2. Hi, buddy. How's it going?
Hey, co-host number 2. I thought I was number 3.
No, you're number 5.
Camera 3.
You're number 5. You're camera 3. I'm sorry. Did I say you're number 2? We're all co-hosts. We're all hosting together. What am I saying? We're all hosts here.
Oh, don't forget Starbuck and Boomer, who are
No, they're over here just...
Boomer's like, leave me the frick alone. I'm trying to chill.
I don't have a good view on the doggos, so they just kind of...
That sound I'm making is me touching his butt. Being And
he's like, dude. He's going to come after you. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So Mr. Alakai and Miss Rianne, so we haven't been together for, oh goodness, at least 3 or 4 months now, something like that.
I realized my mistakes and I decided, you know what, I need to rekindle this. So. No.
Well, Jay is a beautiful man, and he asked me nicely, so I obliged.
So I lived up in a ski resort for about a month doing work stuff, working at a ski resort and snowboarding every week. So that was fun.
That's sick, by the way. That's awesome.
And then right after that, I had a surgery done on my stomach, which was really fun, and couldn't move for a minute. So now here I am, still hurting a little bit, but still able to do stuff.
Still alive and well.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad that you're feeling better, and we're glad that you're back in town instead of up at the ski resort.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Me too. I'm glad to be like close to a Walmart. So I mean, it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice living off the low key off the grid for a little while. But after a minute, you're like, man, I just want to cook up some top ramen. And I have no way to do that because there's no Walmart or no grocery store around. The closest place to get groceries was like 30 minutes away.
Right?
So that was fun.
Jeez.
That's hilarious. Well,
For
we're glad to have you back, buddy.
That sounds like heaven a little bit to me, honestly.
My best friend.
It was for a minute, but then you realize, wow, if it snows up here, I have no internet.
Oops.
Is that because they have all satellite over there? Or,
but at the same time, it's like, well, if it snows out here, I can go snowboarding the next day. So, I guess it was like but we didn't always have every day off. So I mean, we had a couple weeks where we worked like every single day for 2 weeks straight.
Ooh, that's brutal.
So, nice paycheck, but I mean, went towards all my bills. That was catch-up money. So,
right.
I think I realized that you hit the point in adulthood where your tax refunds come, but you use them to catch up on everything. You don't use it on you stuff anymore.
Oh, no.
I remember when I was 18, 19 getting my taxes back, and I'd be like, oh, cool, PS4. And now it's like, oh, cool, I'm not in as much debt anymore.
I get to pay my rent now.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back,
Tell
buddy.
you what.
Tell us what you've been doing, Rianne.
Me?
Yeah, what have you been doing? Just working?
And school?
How has school been for you?
Yeah, tell us how school's been.
Actually, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I adjusted.
Yeah, you need to make sure that
sir, you put
MXL 2000 is facing you.
You put it in a way so it... Anyway.
Do I need to come over there and move it?
No,
Are you sure?
We can hear you.
I adjusted.
Okay.
So school's been awesome because I'm taking classes I'm actually interested in. So
And remind us, are they online classes or
it's
are they
all
face-
online.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I did a marketing class the first block, because I'm on like this Speedway program, blah, blah, blah. We do classes in 7-week chunks. And so I took like a marketing class, like 7 weeks, the 7 weeks previous to this. And that was pretty interesting. We came up with a pretty cool idea called the Kraken. It was kind of cool.
That's what
We had
I
a
call when I see a plumber's crack.
Yes.
Release the Kraken.
Boomer. Sorry, dog. So we did the marketing plan, and it was interesting. We had to work in a group, which was not my super favorite, but just because it requires so much more work. But now I'm taking an entrepreneur class,
Ooh.
and I like it a lot. So
7
That's
weeks. 7 weeks for a course. That's a lot of work crammed into. How many hours a week would you say you spend on?
20 to 30
Jeepers.
Damn.
on top of working. So, and I'm averaging about 45, 50 hours a week with work. So
altogether, you got like 80 hours a week where you
yeah,
have no free time.
my brain's a little tired
80 to
a lot of
90.
times. But good thing I take Alpha Brain, because I tell you what, man, I'd be dead.
Yeah, between Alpha Brain and my Four Sigmatic
Weed.
coffee, it's been delicious. My brain's been good.
Yeah.
I wish I had the camera on you, dude. You yelled that.
That would have been
I can
awesome.
do it again.
Do it again.
Weed.
Jeez. I love it.
Weed.
He's my hippie best friend.
Marijuana.
Oh,
Ganja.
Good times.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's
The devil's
the 7-leaf clover.
Lettuce.
Oh, lettuce. Well, I have a friend who calls tomatoes the devil's testicles, so
Oh.
the devil's lettuce makes sense.
Why?
Because she hates tomatoes, and so she calls them the devil's testicles. Because it's like, to eat a tomato is like eating the devil's testicles.
Oh,
I'll
goodness.
never eat
That's
a tomato.
gross.
I'll never think of a tomato the same again.
Yeah, especially the sun-dried ones.
I didn't want that.
Okay.
Sorry.
That definitely gave me a very interesting visual. Just there.
No BLTs. I can't eat them anymore.
Oh, good times.
Oh man. So I guess everybody already knows what I've been doing, because if they've been following and they've been on our channel, they know that I've been going crazy as far as like releasing a lot of content.
Well
doing,
done, Jacob.
Doing fun stuff. Oh, thank you. I try. I really do.
I'm actually very impressed with the amount of subscribers and the following that has been built up in the last couple of months. So, and those to those that have like listened and subscribed. Hi. Glad you're here. How you doing?
Oh, that's it.
Tell your mom we
Work your
said
magic, Alec. I work your magic.
Tell your mom we say hi. Tell your mom we say hi.
Jeez.
Tell your mom thank you for what she did the other night.
Oh my heavens.
It means a lot to me.
Oh my heavens.
And I hope it meant a lot to her too.
So anywho, so yeah.
anywho,
So in the meantime, I mean, I tried to put out some. Excuse me. I did do a couple of podcasts by myself, but it just wasn't as fun. I'll just be honest. It wasn't as fun. I don't think it was as interesting as it was, being able to play off of you two, and I especially think that your guys' minds are very interesting to me, and I think you're both very interesting individuals, and so being able to play off of the things that you guys say, and it's just not the same without you guys, and so that's why I was just like, well, I just need to put this on pause and I need to do something else, and so that's why I started up entertainment news and reviews, posting on TikTok, like doing all this other stuff, and and live streaming. I started live streaming. This is going to be my third my third full week live streaming. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun playing some games with some friends.
What games have you been streaming?
So right now I've just been streaming Diablo 3. We're coming up on the end of season 25, so I think we're going to definitely get a lot more injection of new viewers and new followers once season 26 starts. And we already have like a lot of people that are going to want to level in groups and kind of come up in groups, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
Do you think you'll ever go back to streaming League of Legends again?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Probably not. I mean, unless this is something I can do full time and actually supplement fully my income that I'm doing right now, I don't think that's going to be the case because it's just too much work and too much demand on getting good at a game.
Well,
so
I will say, if this is a big if. I shouldn't say it's a big if, but if it ever comes to that where when you are able to stream that full time, with the series Arcane coming out on Netflix, I think there would be a pretty big following behind it. So,
well, this is
my
true.
2 cents.
Do you play it?
No, I don't. But I watched the show and I love the show.
So here's my issue. When we first got married, like I could notice a very distinct difference in Jacob, and even though we hadn't known each other, I could notice a very distinct difference in him and how he reacted to things and how he was so incredibly irritable, and like because you get docked if you leave a match, or like it's not very flexible at all. No, if you want to get good at it and keep from like
you have to make it a full-time thing.
Right, and like it created literally a person who was extremely addicted. Like I was married to an addict in a lot of senses. And so I was like, I don't like this. I don't like how it affects our relationship. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the only way I would ever be okay with him doing League of Legends and making a living at that is if I had a sugar daddy that I could go travel with and he just stayed home and did whatever. Because there is no way I would live with this man.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, yeah. Well, LOL is out of the question.
Well, I mean, it has been 8 years. I mean, it could be something different, but I don't think we're willing to chance it at this point in time.
Now's not the time to chance it.
Now's not the time to chance it. Now's to play something that's much more mild as far as like my competitive spirit.
Check back when we have $1 million. I might be a little more flexible.
I recommend Riders Republic.
Riders Republic? Is that a newspaper?
No.
Just
it's a new game that just came out with it's like mountain biking, snowboarding, skiing, and it combines, like, it's one big map, but it combines places like Mammoth Mountain, Grand Teton,
wow,
Zion, Bryce Canyon, Canyonland, and Yosemite, but it combines all these places so you can like go to these places and do snowboard competitions or mountain biking races or ski races or even like wingsuit. Like they even have like a wingsuit option. It's a really fun game. I recommend it 100%. It's not like super addictive. It's one of those games that I can throw on for like maybe 20-30 minutes before I go to work.
Okay.
It's not like super addictive, but it is really fun, and it's a lot, like you can put hours into it, but like in like small increments.
Right.
Yeah. Very fun game. I recommend it.
Well, I think there's a couple of games that came out. I know Lost Ark is blowing up pretty big. It's kind of like
which one?
Lost Ark. It kind of looks like Diablo, but it's in an MMO setting. So it's like if World of Warcraft and Diablo had a baby, it would be Lost Ark. That's what it looks like. It looks really cool. But with me and MMOs, just like with League of Legends, I'd get lost in it, and I would not be able to get away from it as easily as I can with like Diablo right now.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens in the future. Maybe we do something like Minecraft. I know Minecraft can be a good grower for channels, and that's like basically like a sandbox Lego in game, like kind of building kind of thing, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. Anything could happen in the future. I think we're just going to do what's best to kind of have the happy medium of not going so far that Rhiannon and I are going to struggle at our relationship because all I'm doing is live streaming and uploading videos, and still having the companionship that we want. And so we're trying not to trade too much on that.
And it's really hard because like I'm working and doing school, so like our time together is
already limited. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and like if the time we have together is going to be dictated by a damn game, we're going to have issues.
That's understandable.
So
that is a very fair and understandable boundary to set.
Yeah.
Also, you need to put your meat missile away.
Uh-oh. Boomer. Boomer. The red rocket needs to be sheathed. Or covered.
Anywho. So then there's still, a lot of things going on in our lives and a lot of good things have happened and, and so now we're back again. That's super exciting. Yeah. And I'm glad that we're back together.
You guys need to make a trip to Disneyland.
Well, we did take an all-inclusive trip to Mexico in January.
Let's talk about that.
I was going to say, how was the cruise?
Well, let's talk about what happened before.
Cruise. How was your
What happened?
vacation?
What happened our first week in January, sweetheart? Tell us a little bit about what happened with us the first week of January.
Oh, it wasn't the first week; it was the second week.
Okay, the second, somewhat time in January,
right
just before
into the new year.
Just before we were supposed to go on our trip to Mexico.
Okay, so I had it all planned out. I had saved money and everything, so we could, one, have money in the account to cover the bills for the week that Jacob was gone, plus have a little bit of spending money, right? But because he doesn't have PTO, when he takes a whole week off, we have to forfeit that income plus pay like for whatever trip or whatever we're going on and stuff. So it takes a little bit.
Takes a little bit of planning.
It takes a little bit. No, it takes a lot of organizing and like figuring stuff out and making it happen and putting money away and everything. Anyway, I don't want to go too far into it because then I'll just get on my rant and I'm sure nobody wants that. But Jacob, like I have Wednesdays are my meeting days where I have like 2-hour meetings in the morning and stuff. And so I had my meeting and I was a little bit flustered or something. And I come home to pick something up to take back to work. And as I'm taking care of some business, I hear Jacob come home. And he runs straight upstairs and goes into bed and like I hear him throwing his shoes down and stuff. I'm like, what the heck? So I go upstairs. I'm like, what's going on? And he's laying in bed and he's like, I'm just so cold. I can't get warm. And I'm like, oh hell.
And that's very accurate, by the way.
Here we go with the freaking man cold. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, I need you to call Kayla to come finish my routes. And I'm like, dude, you don't get paid if you don't do this. Like, I'm like being so mean because I'm just flustered and work and
she's got work going on. Then now her husband's sick, who's not going to be making money for the day. So it's understandable.
And I will 100% fess up that I was being a mean wife. I have my moments. But I also have a lot of good ones. So I was like, fine, okay. So I took his temperature and he doesn't have a temperature. And he's like, but I run subdermal. And I'm like, whatever. Go take some Tylenol. I'll take a nap. I'll take care of it. So I got Kayla to come take his packages and stuff. I figured that out. Went back to work. And then I call and he doesn't answer. So then like I finish my work day, come home and he's got a temperature of like 102. He's like not moving. He's all hot and sweaty. I was like, oh, I am a crappy wife. I am a crappy wife. So I try and medicine him up and everything. He had a fever for like 3 days.
Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to also keep my distance, right? Because I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I don't want to like touch him or whatever. I still try and take care of him, but I'm not wanting to expose myself to whatever it is he has. And I'm just sitting there, okay, great. And he's like, bring home a COVID test. I forget. And then Friday, I go in for half a day and I get a COVID test, and I'm like, I'm starting to feel chilled a little bit in the afternoon.
Yep.
No.
So he had not worked Wednesday, Thursday. This is now Friday.
Middle of Friday, my fever finally broke.
Right.
2.5 days later.
And he ate.
And
he was
for the
feeling
first time.
and he was feeling a little bit better, but he was still super wiped out and everything.
Oh, I was so tired.
But I
all
came
the time.
home and I was like, man, I'm chilling. And I'm like, okay, I think I might have had what you had. So I like order all this stuff online. I'm telling a very long story, but long story short,
I love it.
I brought home
good.
a COVID test from work because we get them at work, and he took his test and it came back positive. And then I took it, but I think maybe mine was still too early.
Yeah, I think yours is either too early or you didn't get enough out of your nose, probably.
Oh, it was nasty. Anyway, so I started chilling and I was like, oh, I'm fine. So I just slept. And then I woke up and I felt okay. And we got food.
Mm-hmm.
But I had been sleeping on the couch to kind of keep
A little
whatever.
bit of distance, but, it's hard living in the same house.
Yeah. So then we, like 4 o'clock in the morning, on Saturday morning, I'm like, I really don't feel right. Something's off. I wake up and I'm like, what's happening? And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, shoot. And I was in the recliner, so I like had to push the button, and it was like...
It's like slowly trying to go down.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. And I'm trying to crawl and like get up, and all of a sudden, it was...
Projectile?
It was not pleasant.
Vomiting.
I will just say this, I cannot eat street corn from Chili's anymore.
Oh, no.
And that makes me really sad. But
Because it's delicious.
so then I am totally out all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I have to quarantine and not go back to work. Whatever. I had a fever.
Yep. So
Poor
quarantined
Jacob
to get together.
his fever had just barely broken, and he had to come and clean up the
Vomit off of the door and in the hall.
Okay.
And in the
Let's
bathroom.
not get too graphic, but it was bad.
It was
and I
bad.
just have to say,
It was bad.
he handled the sickness much better than I did. Well, he handled a sick spouse much better than I did. And I am
That's because I love you
eternally
more.
grateful.
I'm just kidding.
I am eternally grateful. And I have learned to be a little bit more compassionate. However, I'm not that much more compassionate because you gave that shit to me. So
That's understandable. And so a week after that, we went back to work. Like half dead. Like I literally was just chugging coffee like 3 to 4 times a day. Just
That's not good.
Just to make it through.
And you were taking lighter routes and stuff, and I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, why aren't you going to work? And he's like, because we got to do stuff. Like, so leading up to the vacation, I'm like, you need to work every single day. Like, now that you're back to work, you need to work every single day between now and when we leave so that we have the funds to do it. And he didn't, and it caused major blah drama. But then we went to Mexico and ate guacamole, and it was fine.
Yeah. Yep. And
Okay. I'm just... Hold up.
Guacamole solves everything. I'm just kidding.
I was like, yeah, how was your trip? And then we hear this whole story of how the week before your trip,
2 weeks before the trip.
I almost cussed. It really freaking sucked because y'all got COVID.
Yep.
And then the actual story of how was the trip was we went to Mexico. We had a guacamole. It was great.
So I will say
It was a fun trip, except for we had to cancel one of our excursions. We actually went light on the excursions because we knew we were already tired, and both of us were just wiped out from.
we
from
had
the
sat
coof.
in the sun.
And we just sat in the sun and drank all the time at the pool.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So like by Wednesday, when we're supposed to
Thursday,
we're supposed to get on quads and like right up through the different Aztec temples and stuff like that over there.
and then
in
go
Cancun.
swim in the like cave pools and all that stuff.
And we didn't because we were just so tired.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was.
That sucks.
It was kind of crazy, but like we did have a romantic dinner on the beach, and it was windy as hell.
The light
It was awkward, like
It was like a light show. The light was just
because we were in
spinning,
a
like, the whole
teepee, and so it was
time.
just like spinning. And then like I had like tear stains down my eyes because the wind was making my eyes water so much. And then we had that little dude playing live saxophone, and he would come over, and I will say, it was really romantic that like in between, and it was like a 5-course meal
with like wine and steak.
Yeah, but it was a 5-course meal. But it took forever to get the courses out. So we were sitting in between, sitting in the wind. But Jacob did do a sweet thing, and he did like, get me. He like came over and took my hand and like danced with me on the beach in the wind.
Oh,
yeah, I did. I pulled her up. We were the only ones that danced for a song.
Yeah.
Then we sat back down in between.
So much cute.
It was.
So,
it was nice.
he pulled out his cheeser, and it was nice. His cheeser. I'm a hopeless romantic type stuff.
Oh,
so
man.
I do have that side of me.
Not bad, Jacob. Not bad.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
So that's how the trip went.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. We actually, at the end, were just like, we kind of hope that one of us tests positive. We have to stay a couple more days.
We had travel insurance.
We couldn't afford it.
No, we had travel insurance for that specific reason, Jacob.
Oh,
I was going to say,
realize. That's good.
Once you have COVID in your system, right after you get it, it's very hard to get it within, 60 days, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because of the natural immunity is at its highest with the antibodies and such.
Right.
Yeah.
And plus, we're pretty healthy. We take a lot of preventative measures. Like, it didn't hit us as hard as it would have hit other people in our condition.
When I was up at the ski resort, we were pretty sure that, like, the majority of the employees that were there ended up getting COVID.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was around pretty much all of them. And I never got it. I never felt sick or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I never, I could taste everything. So, I mean.
Oh, that was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I lost it a little bit, not too much, only for a few days, but he lost it for a while.
It's weird, isn't
Everything tasted so weird and like different. It wasn't like it was like you could get like
the chemicals.
A hint. You could like get a hint of it.
It's like you could
but
take
everything just tasted like bland and like nothing was. I could tell if something was sweet, salty, or sour. But like if I was eating egg, it didn't really taste like eggs.
Well, and I could taste the chemicals.
The way that's how I found out that I had COVID, and I was like, I know for sure that I have it, was I opened up my whiskey and I took a sniff and I was like, I can't smell this. I took a fat swig and I'm like, this is bad.
Uh-oh.
This is bad.
That was literally my reaction. I was like, this isn't good. This is not good.
Well, speaking of, you said to go into Disneyland. We can jump into our topic. Does that sound fair for everybody, or is there any other updates we want to give before we get started?
I think before we go into the topics that we're going to go into today, we need to give a trigger warning because some of these topics are pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
This one that we're going into with Disneyland, it's kind of hefty, and the ones that we're going to be getting into later are also going to be pretty hefty, so just heads up on that.
Yeah, and that's why we have the disclaimer in the beginning of the intro, so that people know that we do talk about things and that aren't always great.
Giving another disclaimer of like, heads up, here it comes. So,
hold on to your butts.
Those of you that came for the COVID puke and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, geez.
We're now moving on. So
I don't think anybody really showed up for that.
Things.
Well,
they might have just been along for the ride.
Right. So, something that was really kind of striking in the news in the last couple of days that have been kind of progressively coming to light is that in Florida, they did the second round of the March of Sadness, which they do, I believe, like every year. And basically they take 30 days in March and they basically go after pedophiles. So this is March Madness 2 is what just recently occurred. And
March of Sadness.
March of Sadness, excuse me.
Oh.
No, Operation March Sadness 2. That's what this was
Yeah, but
called.
you said March Madness, and that's like collegiate basketball. Two very different
I thought
things.
that was football.
Oh, heavens.
We need somebody with sports.
Jacob, I don't get into sports, but I at least know that.
I thought March Madness was football, but you're
No.
probably right. Okay.
Football's over.
It's basketball.
It's basketball.
Well, check this shit out, okay? This is going to be very striking. It's going to be very alarming, so just so everybody knows. These are quotes from this particular article. I'm just going to read these ones that I excerpt from there. Florida law enforcement conducted an undercover operation titled Operation March Sadness 2, which resulted in the arrest of 108 individuals involved in human trafficking and pedophilia. Among those arrested were 4 Disney employees and a retired judge in Cook County 4th Sub-Circuit District. Since Disney amusement parks are our nation's #1 destination for small children, you would hope that they'd run through background checks on their employees. However, a shocking number of Disney employees have turned out to be rampant pedophiles. Among those arrested...
That's a little hyperbolic, but okay.
Sorry, I'm kind of doing my newscaster voice, which I do on my new stuff. Among those arrested worked as a lifeguard at the Polynesian Resort for Walt Disney. He was arrested for sending sexual images of himself to what he thought was a 14-year-old girl, but was actually an undercover detective. He also graphic descriptions of what he wanted to do to the child and bragged about his job at Disney. The 3 other Disney employees arrested. One was a software developer for Disney. One of them worked at Disney World's Cosmic Restaurant, and the other worked in IT, information technology. On average, each of these 3 sexual predators worked at Disney for 4 years and had access to an innumerable amount of children. Operation Child Predator lasted a single month and resulted in the arrest of 17 individuals, many whom worked for Disney. Go. Thoughts?
Okay, so
It's all a conspiracy.
a 14-year-old narc. Woo! That poor girl and what she had to see. Oh.
Well, I think it was an undercover police officer who could pass as a 14-year-old.
That's right.
So.
What are your thoughts, Alaka?
This blows my mind. Like,
Right?
you have these employees who have worked on average for 4 years, so I'm going to guess, like, give or take, like 3 to 5 years between each of them.
Right.
But they all worked for Disney, but, like, that was their cover for, like, we're going to have access to these children that we can now pull this shit with. Like, what the oh my god. All I can say to that is what the
Right. What
but
the F?
I
What the freak?
I will refrain from using F-bombs on this podcast.
I appreciate it. That's one of our language rules on the podcast. We can't use the F-bomb.
Like, and not only that, it's like they're absolutely right. You would think that Disney, a company that centers around children, would be doing background checks on these folks.
Well,
It boggles the mind,
but
right?
here's-
$1 billion industry just within Disney alone, not only with theme parks but also with film and series.
But if you
Disney
were to
Plus.
look at some of
Go ahead, Rita.
Disney's
Sorry.
history, this isn't really that surprising. Like, one of the first cartoons that Walt Disney ever made was a cartoon of Mickey Mouse picking up cheese off a conveyor belt and poking holes in it with his phallus and putting it back
Really?
on. Yes. Like, that is one of the first cartoons that was ever aired on primetime TV.
Oh my goodness, that's gross.
So I'm just sitting here thinking, but like, I don't know if people didn't notice it, because if you didn't like really look at it, I don't know. It was just, and there's been so many different things about how they put subliminal messages in a lot of their animation, like how it spells sex in the clouds in The Lion King, how Aladdin whispers "take your clothes off" to Jasmine, how
The phalluses in the background of the
the castle,
Mermaid, the
the
castles
castle and the
stuff.
Little Mermaid. They've changed it since, but I had all the original VHSs, and I remember when that broke. Like, me and my friends sat, and we went through and how the priest gets a boner in the Little Mermaid and everything.
Oh yeah,
we went
wow,
through
yeah,
all of them and literally found them in all of the tapes.
yeah.
So, I mean, it does surprise me in some ways, but at the same time, it really doesn't.
And what about the allegations? And I say allegations loosely. with what was the young man that was one of like the Mickey Mouse Club, and what was his name? But he's one of the very vocal people out towards Disney for sex trafficking.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, what is his name?
Is it Aaron Carter? I don't know.
No.
But I mean, if you think about it, like
he
all
kind of
these...
looks like Charlie Sheen, but I don't think he's related to him.
Oh, I don't know.
I always mix him up with Charlie Sheen.
That's kind of a weird.
Anyways, continue. Let me see if I can.
But
find him.
is what I'm saying is like it's more prevalent than, and maybe I'm like kind of desensitized to it because of where I work and like. But it is so incredibly prevalent. And people think that like human trafficking and child sex trafficking and stuff is extremely prevalent like in all these other countries. Like Operation Underground Railroad, that's where the majority of their busts happen, is like outside of the U.S. Uh-oh. I'm adjusting, maybe.
Do you need help or are you good?
I think I'm fine.
Okay.
No,
you need help?
Yeah, come home.
All right, beer right there.
But I'm going to keep talking.
Oh,
I was gonna say continue
Corey.
while we're adjusting.
Corey
Feldman?
Feldman.
He wasn't necessarily against Disney. It's just Hollywood in general.
Oh, Hollywood in general, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
I misspoke. Where do you need this?
Can we...
Towards you?
No. Can we turn it up like this? Like we've had it before. Like
Yeah.
that. There.
In fact, if we do it like this, then
Oh, whatever.
for the camera and seeing your beautiful face.
Well, you know. As long as it's not bumping my boob, I'm fine.
You guys are adorable.
How was that?
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to I love you too. I'm going to finish my story.
So yeah, I misspoke. I know Corey Feldman has been very outspoken about sex trafficking within Hollywood. Not necessarily Disney, but there have been some allegations.
But-
I don't know if they were ever founded, but that's something I've read in the past.
Well, people have died and, you know, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself and all that fun stuff. But I mean, like you guys, it's really, I mean, you'd be amazed at the people that are involved with sex trafficking. And the thing is like people have no idea what really happens. Like there are women from upper middle class or middle class homes that are trafficked but go home every night. They don't necessarily stay with their abuser, but they're roped in somehow. And like there was this one story of a girl who literally would go visit her grandma in the summers, and in the summers she was trafficked by her quote unquote boyfriend.
Oh, geez.
And he would literally pimp her out by emotional abuse and then drug abuse. And then like, if you loved me, you'd do it. You do it. I need the money. Right?
The emotional manipulation.
It's a real
Oh,
thing.
my goodness.
And like, and that's what makes it so weird is like, people don't understand that it's not just some strange guys snatching up kids on the streets of like some third world country. Yes, 100%, that's an issue, but it is also kids being lured from Facebook, from online. Like, social media is such a dangerous place for children.
Yeah, especially stuff like Snapchat,
Well,
which can track.
I have thoughts
know?
about this, but continue.
yeah, well, okay. But the other thing is, like, society is trying to sexualize children younger and younger and younger. And that's one thing that frustrates the crap out of me, is that they're normalizing the sexualization of children.
Yeah.
So, like, that's one thing that's happening in Florida right now. Everybody's, like, so against the Don't Say Gay bill. And it's not saying don't say gay. It's literally saying we are not going to teach about sexual orientation or gender roles to children between kindergarten and fourth grade. One, because developmentally, they're not in that place yet.
Yeah.
And to teach them and to start talking to them about sexual orientation or what they're attracted to, or to even start having those type of conversations,
Far too young.
They're a kid. They don't know.
Exactly.
They're confused
But
enough
they
as it is
also-
of who, like, if they're even existing,
But
or they just want to play with their toys.
A child's brain is like a sponge. From the age of newborn to 8, a child's brain is literally a sponge, and will get its like a child will get its sense of identity based off of the social construct and like its outward environment. Why is it all fuzzy right now?
I don't know.
I'm
It
so
just started.
confused.
It just went fuzzy. I don't know.
Because you touched it.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Should
Anyways,
be okay. I just heard it being fuzzy, so I
Right.
was trying to fix it. Sorry.
So anyway, so like that age group, that's the reason why that whole bill came out, is because it's like we should not be having these discussions with these children at this age, especially about sexual orientation or touching people's sexual, like all that sort of stuff. And that's why, but like it's become a divisive issue. But this is what's scaring me, is society is wanting to sexualize and normalize children, like with drag queen story hour at libraries and stuff. Like it's promoting it, and I'm not
Promoting
saying
children
there's anything
as
wrong.
drag queens, that I thought was kind of strange.
That's what I'm saying, is like they're trying to normalize certain behaviors, and I don't have anything against people. Like
we
you
really
can live
don't.
your life, but when it
Right.
comes to normalizing and sexualizing children,
That's a no.
that is very, 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 very concerning.
they're children. They don't
Right.
fucking know. Like,
Well, and the fact that pedophilia is now being deemed as a sexual orientation and normalized, that to me is problematic. And I will speak out against that, because that is not okay. And that should not be normalized ever.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, those kinds of discussions should be left with parents at normal ages. But but also we we've met
But
some
even,
parents, and that's still concerning. Having those having certain parents have those discussions with their kids.
so it's different
Go ahead,
because
Malachi.
it's different now because a lot of like the whole generational, like a lot of the issues that we're dealing with now, they're generational and they're completely different
Oh yeah.
from like there's no blueprint for parenting. I say this because I'm not a parent, but the idea of being one actually kind of scares me because of the shit that's going on now.
Right.
It's like everything that the kids now are growing up with, we didn't grow up with.
Right.
They're completely different issues. Kids are now being bullied because of something that they post on Instagram. And that's not something that we really.
That's
that,
true.
like,
Like
you guys
we've never dealt
Yeah.
with.
I started to grow up with that when that started becoming a thing, and now it's completely normal. And here's a crazy thing about it too. So we look at the chemical in your brain, dopamine. This is we're gonna get a little Simon Sinek here. So
Sweet. Go.
so dopamine is the chemical in our brain that makes us feel good when we do stuff like drink, have sex, smoke, gamble, all that kind of stuff. And it's very addictive. Now look at your cell phone and the social media applications that you have and the notifications you get. Whenever you get a notification from any site, you're hit with you get a hit of dopamine.
Right.
Well, the
Also
the
addictive.
likes and the notifications, the dings.
Exactly.
Hey, somebody acknowledged you. Somebody recognizes you as a person.
So here's the thing. We have age restrictions and locks for alcohol, for cigarettes,
Right.
for gambling. There are no age restrictions for social media, for cell phone use.
Well,
In other words, it's like kids now are looking at getting help from a phone. They're not turning to a person.
right.
They're turning to a phone. And that's where they're getting their support. That's where they're getting their love. And it is extremely addictive and extremely dangerous.
And
Jake.
volatile.
And volatile,
Well,
yes. Jacob.
Supposedly there is a child protection law with social applications. They're supposed to not let anyone under the age of 13 on these applications. However,
That's such bullshit.
there is no way. Well, it's in their
You
terms and service.
lie about your age.
I've looked about this. And
Yeah,
yeah,
how do they
same thing with
enforce that?
emails. They don't. There's no way to input like a social security number. There's no way to input like, personal information so they can look that stuff that shit up. There's no way.
At the same time, do you want them to have that? Like, then that's a lot of overreach, and that's giving them a lot of information to be able, like, dude, that's information that they could have to steal identity or
They already
steal
have all that
credit and all that
information.
stuff.
The thing is,
They already
like,
have all that information.
there was ways as a kid to get around the age restrictions with alcohol. You can get a fake ID, or even maybe your parents are okay with you drinking in the house as long as it's in their house.
Or pay a bum to go get you a 40 from the corner store.
Yeah, whatever.
There's ways around it.
And
That was
there's
not
ways.
very politically correct, Jacob.
There's also ways to get around the whole social media argument with the age restriction. It's so easy to change what year you were born. That's what I did with my PlayStation. In order to do anything with my account, you had to be 18 to do anything without the parental controls. Parental. But yeah, all you have to do is just change the birth year. Like that's
too easy. It's too easy. Just like pornography websites. All you got to do is click a checkbox and say, yes, I'm
over
of age.
18.
That's
Whatever.
it.
That's so stupid.
It is against the law to watch porn when you're under 18.
Yeah.
Check this box if you are over 18.
That's it.
If you're over 18, kid, you check the yes box.
They really do need to have
enjoy.
But they have no
to use
interest
your
in
social
that
security number.
because they want to get them addicted
as quickly as possible. As soon as it's possible.
The sooner they start collecting data, likes, dislikes, and it's sooner they become a product for the social media to capitalize on.
To them, that's...
And the issue is, like, where's the responsibility, right? I don't feel like it's the government's responsibility to step in and manage all this stuff. But now that it's become a public forum, it has a whole different feel. And so they're...
Well, that's what they're supposed to, like, protect us from this kind of stuff, but they're not.
Not necessarily. They're supposed to protect us from enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, anyway, we're going to get on. But part of the problem is it's an ethical issue, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like when we watched the Adam Project, they pose like so many freaking ethical issues.
Right.
And like
well,
it is up to individuals. And the problem is the values that we have as a society have depleted so much that we don't value each other as actual individuals. It's just a number and somebody to capitalize on or exploit and that's how our system has developed.
We value what you have to give, but we don't value you as a person.
Right. It has become a corporatocracy as opposed to a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
And that is the issue.
It's
and
dangerous.
so big corporations, like to get to the point where you lose touch with who you're meant to be serving, or that's an issue.
And
it's too big.
And
taxation is theft. Sorry, I'm
You had to slip that in there just before we switched over to Alec. Go ahead, buddy.
It's taking away one of the most important life skills that any child should be learning from a very young age, which is empathy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That skill is slowly being taken away. Everybody's more like me now. Yeah. Nobody's like thinking outward of, you're going through this? Oh, no way. Like,
well, and that's problematic of like my generation too. Like the so like the millennials and Gen Xers and stuff, we have lost our ability in a lot of ways to have empathy or to have any sense of decorum. Well, and maybe not so much Gen Xers. Gen Xers were kind of a weird generation.
I see what you're saying there with the whole millennial thing, because I know for a fact that is a big thing amongst millennials, and now an even bigger thing with Generation Z.
Right.
So,
like the ability to be empathic or to even connect in a very meaningful way with people has been lost. Yeah. And even me as a Gen Xer, I guess I'm technically a Zennial. Like I was right on the cusp of Gen X /
that's where I'm at. The Zillennial between millennial and Generation
Z. Yeah.
She's on the later end and you're on the earlier end. It's so funny.
No, he's on the later end of
millennial.
Millennial,
yeah.
And the start.
Yeah.
But it's like, even I now have, like, kind of struggle as kind of in that millennial phase of having true, authentic connections. One, because of trauma, super fun. Two, because there's so many other things that I can give my attention to that's so much easier than having a connection and learning and growing with another person. Because when you have a relationship with another person, it requires you to dig in and figure out why you do or don't work, or to have that introspection. But social media, all it does is reaffirm, give you that dopamine hit, because the more you get it, the more you come back. And that is such a huge problem. People don't know how to deal with discomfort. They don't know how to deal with mental or emotional discomfort in a lot of ways. And it's...
Yeah,
I think
because again, they're not turning to a person to get the help that they need to work through the shit that they're going through. They're turning to a phone.
Yeah. As I sit here looking at, like, quotes and stuff to talk about.
No, but, like, oh man, I had something I was gonna say and it just left my brain.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's my own fault. my brain's fault. The unorganization, the loss of memories of my brain. Oh my goodness, what is happening?
It's okay. When you remember it, definitely stop us so that you can
just yell. Be like,
we'd be having a conversation about a different topic, and I'm like, oh, that's what I thought.
Let's circle back.
Yeah, we can always circle back. That's totally cool.
But yeah, it just blows my mind. It's like nobody's turning to a person anymore to get the love and comfort and the support that they need.
Well, there's all these apps now that people are making too.
There's even like scroll. I'm going to talk about when I was scrolling through social media, getting the support that I needed when I wasn't getting it from a person.
Right?
Scrolling through TikTok. Even if you scroll through TikTok, there are ads that actually talk about getting therapy
on the app.
On an app.
Yeah.
Not having like an in-office, face-to-face conversation with a human being. Like,
and that's scary to me.
Well, and you got to find the right person too.
Why would you want?
It's difficult to find the right person that'll connect with you in a way that they can really help you. You know what I mean?
I'm glad that you're reaching out and trying to get therapy and you're trying to get help, but get it from a person. Don't.
Yeah, but
like,
part of
say
the
that
problem,
to the camera.
But part of the problem is
get help.
There is a serious shortage of mental health professionals. The need far outweighs the actual pool of options.
And why do you think that
expensive?
Is?
Exactly. And it's expensive because you're paying for a real person's time. Like, there is a lot of value to sit across from somebody and do that.
Yeah.
But like,
there's a reason why that kind of job actually pays pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's like, to be a therapist is exhausting. Can you imagine sitting there for 7 to 8 hours a day just talking to people? I
have 2 friends that are in school to get their therapist licenses. Mm-hmm. But that's what they're in school for, and you can tell, like, just by the type of people that they are. It's like, yes, this job takes a specific kind of person, and you are that person. It's not me. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's you, though.
I couldn't do it. There's a lot of jobs out there I couldn't do. That's definitely one. I couldn't hear everybody's. I have too much empathy. I would just implode, like, emotionally. I would struggle so hard.
I think that would make you really good at your job, though. I thought about being a therapist for a long time, and then I had a lot of friends that had stuff that they were going through, and I sat down listening to them. And I'm like, yeah, this is tough. Like, I agree. This is a lot of
and the hard
overload.
part is if you have a friendship, there's a whole nother level of complexity. Mm-hmm. And so a therapist is meant to kind of take that complexity out to help you kind of work through stuff.
Right. There's no conflict of interest.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like, and I will say this, Jacob is an extremely empathic person, and I think you would be very good at it, Jacob, but you would have to work really hard to make sure that you had tools that you were using So you weren't taking
Really?
that on.
Yeah, because I take it on and I hold it in, and that's not healthy.
So really quick, I think we need to talk about the difference between empathic and empathetic.
Yes.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
So empathic is more like you can identify with that person's emotion and can like relate and feel it. And wait, what was it? Empathic and
There's
Empathetic.
and empathetic?
Yes.
So empathetic is that you are. I'm blanking here. Let's Google
it's hard.
it.
It's hard. Ryan, what do you think?
So an empath is somebody who can literally
Let's
almost
Google it.
physically feel the emotion or feel the energy as if it's their own from another person. An empathetic person can observe and understand and know how to address.
Mm-hmm.
So to be empathetic, you can almost put yourself in that person's shoes. Sympathetic is different because sympathy is to look down on. Empathetic is to be like, oh yeah, I know what it feels like to be in that situation. How can I support you?
Right.
So
But an empath can actually take and physically, emotionally, like they can feel it.
You could probably tell that you're empathic if you're in a room with a bunch of people and you start to feel overwhelmed by anxiety or you're probably overwhelmed with multiple different feelings.
Yeah.
And you don't even have a reason to. You don't even know why.
That's why I can't be in
because-
large crowds for long periods of time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because you can feel exactly what everybody else
I
around
get
you is
so
feeling.
And
overstimulated.
it's overwhelming.
I think a lot of introverts have this because of that, because they can actually feel what's going on in the room. But I've noticed that, like, not just with an individual person, but like in a crowd of people, I'm like, why do I feel like there's a box closing in on me? It's like, oh, that's because whatever this guy next to me is feeling, I'm probably feeling it too.
Yeah, you guys nailed it, honestly. Like, I just looked it all up. You guys nailed it. So the difference between
An empath?
having empathy for a person, for somebody, versus being an empath, like an empathic person. You guys nailed it.
Like,
good job.
When you're empathetic, you're like, and then there's sympathetic.
Yeah. Oh, I feel sorry for you.
It's just like, oh man, sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
See, but sympathy, I feel, comes from a place of superiority. Like, it's almost like, oh, you
almost
poor thing.
narcissistic.
It comes from I think sympathy comes more from not necessarily a healthier, like I think of sympathy in somebody who's condescending to me.
Sympathy is more like, oh man, I'm sorry you feel that way. Empathy is like, wow, I'm sorry this happened to you to make you feel this way.
Yeah. I don't know, like, how to distinguish. Sympathy, though, is just something like, it is not as...
I guess you should add, empathy is, I'm sorry that this is happening, that's making you feel this way, and I understand.
Yes.
So.
Exactly.
Sympathy
like you actually
is, oh, I'm sorry your dad died. So are we going to go do something? Like, it's like you acknowledge it. You have the ability and capacity to see and acknowledge, but it's not necessarily putting yourself in that situation to have that level of
sympathy.
Understanding.
It's kind of like assuming, and then empathy is like, what do you need? Do you want to talk about it? Do you need a distraction? Do you need some space? It's like...
And kind of going back to what we were talking about is these individuals who literally are mentally ill and sick with these different feelings they have for people who are too young for those kinds of feelings. Like, they definitely don't have that empathy. Like, that's completely devoid of their, in their minds and in their emotions. Like, it's not... I didn't even have the camera on me. That's okay. So that's a really big thing. And like, those individuals, although they are sick, like they definitely need help for sure.
Right.
But that's what I'm struggling with, is they're normalizing that to the point where it's no longer considered abnormal to have sexual attraction towards a young child.
It shouldn't be normalized.
It shouldn't be, but it is being normalized, and I have massive issue with that.
Yeah.
As should we all.
Yeah, we should all agree that that's
But
not good.
the thing is now, like, if we had enough of us following or whatever. Like,
I know.
people would be like, you're insensitive. Like, no, I'm not insensitive.
That's not necessarily true.
I
Like, we
don't
know
think
that.
your attraction is normal, but that doesn't mean, like, and I don't feel like you should normalize it to, like, just so you can feel better. Like, that is not natural. And you need to do the work to get over it. And I will do what I can to help you. You know what I mean? It's like, I can help you with that, but I am not ever going to say it's normal for you to find that.
Did you know
Okay.
that there is actually a motorcycle club that exists solely to defend and, like, it's a motorcycle club that's
Are you
in
talking about
existence
BACA?
against. It's the one.
Bikers Against Child Abuse?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
We have one that's against this kind of shit. Like,
For real.
I think that's awesome. Like,
and
especially very masculine men, like being in that role. I think that's a very beautiful thing.
how much you want to bet that the majority of the guys in that club are actually fathers
oh,
or uncles or
Or people
brothers.
who were perpetrated on, or you know,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So we actually, it was really cool. The BACA chapter here in Cedar City, I wasn't even there, but the story was just awesome. There was a little girl who had to go face her abuser in court
Oh my god.
that was staying at our shelter. And they came with all their bikes, revved it up and everything, gave her a little jacket with her
Give her a
name
little
and
cut,
yeah.
yeah.
Like it's just cool what they do. And they walk into the court, and it was before COVID and everything, obviously, but they walk into court so that this little innocent child who has been hurt by somebody who is supposed to take care of him knows that there's somebody there to protect them. And it's just like so cool. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna stop.
You're starting it. You need to stop because I'm going to start crying.
Anyway, I
But
think
that's
it's
the
really
kind.
cool.
We don't have enough of that shit, and we need more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing to me that we have more of, like, the normalization of that
That's the normalization is speaking louder than the other
than the
stuff.
actual support that's going against that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. And that's why it's so sickening to me, like this whole drug bust and stuff. The other thing that bothers me is like when stuff like that happens, it's not in mainstream media. I haven't seen anything in mainstream media about this
needs
march
to be.
of sadness. It needs to be. But there was also like a time during the election, Trump there was a major sex bust that went down too, where they busted several people. Like I think it was the march of it happened. Like it was part of this March of Madness thing where they
March of Sadness?
March of Sadness. Thank you. Gosh dang it, I did it, Jacob. Anyway,
It's okay.
but like there was no coverage on that. No coverage on that, on any of it. And it bothers me because like did you know that the US
It's on, let's see, the top, I went ahead and did DuckDuckGo on this really quick. Let's go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over so you guys can see. So it looks like the top search results are FloridaActionCommittee.org, NBC Miami, so all local stuff. The Blaze is a national.
Well, of course the Blaze will do it because
Oh,
the Blaze
absolutely.
isn't mainstream media. It's an independent media group.
Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, Bay News 9. So a lot of these,
It's
Washington
local.
Examiner, Patriot Journal. So a lot of these more conservative, it looks like a lot more of these online conservative news groups. Washington, yeah. Well, I said Washington Examiner. So yeah, it looks like more of the conservative side are actually sharing these things, and not so much on the Democratic or liberal side of things. That's
Well,
concerning.
You know what is mainstream in the
Because
media
they're the
now?
ones that are promoting these.
Or allowing it to happen. One of the two.
No, they're.
You know what is mainstream?
What?
The dumbass TikTok dance that y'all teenagers are posting.
That's true.
That's who we're gonna have one of you running the country one day.
Oh my gosh,
That's-
it's gonna be idiocracy.
That's where we're going.
Honestly, I
We're
feel
already
like
there.
You laugh at
We're
the
already
TikToks
there.
that have a random picture of cheese and some weird sound come up and you laugh at that shit, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're the reason why we're going to shit.
Well, like, they seriously want to dumb down the population. I mean, I'll get into too much conspiracy stuff, but like,
That's not a conspiracy,
the
though.
movie Idiocracy is literally our future, and we're getting closer to it every damn day, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's why I became a delegate, so I could participate in local elections, so I can do my part.
Good job, babe. Thank you for doing that.
Woo!
That's right.
I appreciate that.
Woo!
Woo! I think that's a good place to stop. I think that was wow. That was jam-packed.
That was
How'd you guys feel? Any other comments?
Had a lot.
Criticism?
I'm glad
criticisms?
Alakai's back.
Me too. I'm glad he's doing
Thanks.
better
Glad
too.
to be back. Thanks, guys.
But definitely the CIA and FBI need to investigate.
Dude, they're in on it. Okay.
More
We need to be
tinfoil hat
done.
stuff.
Be good to the people around you. Love the
Just
people around
love
you.
Be better people today than you were yesterday.
and love yourself. Not in a naughty way.
I don't get told.
But if
that
you want
enough.
to, you can.
Teach their own. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
But make sure that you're loving the people around you. Because the people around you
and
deserve
of age
it.
of consent and consenting.
Okay, yeah.
and on that note, thank you guys
I
so
think
much.
Alakai was talking the more pure love. So that's good.
Well, you said love yourself, and
I
that
know.
could be
Okay.
taken in
All
different
right.
ways.
All right. We
But
need
anyway.
to finish.
Goodness.
We're going to digress way too fast.
Guys, thank you all so much for watching another podcast. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully, you've earned your subscription today. So don't forget to hit that red button, click that damn bell, so you don't so you don't miss.
Stroke.
So you don't TBI. ADD.
Squirrel.
Concussions. Yeah, don't forget to hit that red button, click that damn bell so you don't miss a content release. And from our family to yours, good night.
I never got that thought back.
Hello everyone, JayReims with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.